Hello there. Well, we're down at Jameson's Pub and I've taken this opportunity to catch up with Chris Parsons, who is a founding board member of the Pattaya Players. He was also the man who directed the first series of performances, which was called An Evening of One Act. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, Paul.
Okay, Chris, let's just have a look back on how did it go, this Evening of One Act, and for those people who didn't see it, maybe you can just tell us exactly what that was.
Yeah, it turned out to be a fantastic evening of theater, and we had 3 one-act plays, actually, mystery, suspense, a drama, and then a comedy. And they were all put into the same evening, and we had an intermission separating them to break them up a little bit. We had 3 nights. They were all to packed houses. Most of the people seemed to really enjoy it. We had, of course, some glitches along the way and some bumps in the road, as you do in community theater. But for our first run, we were all very, very pleased with how it turned out.
Well, the response the feedback that I've had personally has been fantastic. Everybody seemed to think that it was a great thing, that not that it was just happening in Pattaya, but also the level of professionality, that the sets, the acting, and also the venue, which was the Bangkok Hospital, Pattaya rather.
Exactly, yeah, and they were fantastic. They have sponsored us from the beginning. They're one of our they are the original founding sponsor of the Pattaya Players, and that space is fantastic. And in fact, they didn't just support us with the space, but they also gave us support from their staff. They gave us support for promotional items and the whole lot. But it was the perfect venue, and we hope to use them again for our Christmas production, which will be coming up soon.
So, just staying with that for a moment, this was by no means the first thing that you've directed. You've done this before and you've acted before. Was there any differences in trying to stage something like this? I mean, I appreciate that it's taken a while to get all the people together, to get not just the acting, the actors, but to get the people who are going to build the sets and everything. What was the differing challenges compared to when you've done this before?
Yeah, I think the main difference with this one was that I was not only in the director role but also in the producer role and kind of the set design role, helping out with that, and the lighting role and the audio role, because we didn't have all those people in place yet. And so having all those roles to fill and trying to get everything to be done, like you said, to the level that we wanted it to be done, was probably the biggest challenge here. And like with any venture that's just starting up, it takes, a few baby steps before you can actually walk. And so that's what this was for us. And I think the easy part was the actual directing and dealing with the talent and getting people to do the things that I wanted to do, because we all just had great fun. So really it was more the logistics than it was the actual event itself.
Well, you're a brave man taking it on. I mean, I've been involved with music production for years, and just even the sound alone was a major challenge for you. So to have that on added on to the list of everything that you were taking care of, my hat goes off to you, because I know it's a big deal. But as you said, the end result was fantastic, and it was also something that people enjoyed, not just the players but also the audience. I think like I said, the feedback that we've been getting from people over the last month or so has just been fantastic. How do you feel now that the sort of the dust is settled? Do you have this sort of come down?
Yeah, I'm much more relaxed than I was. Certainly, it was getting a little harried there in the 2 weeks leading up to the play and the actual play. But now, once we have that under our belt and we've looked back over it and thought about the things that went well and the things that could improve and what we need to do, I feel much more confident that with our next venture, those things are going to fall in place a lot easier. And we've got the people, I think, now coming out of the woodworks from the first one to volunteer to help that out. And, of course, we're always looking for more people to come and volunteer and be part of the Pattaya Players. Well,
this is it. Like you say, it's community theatre, so you need people to make the effort. And, of course, it's all voluntary, but the amount of enjoyment that you get from it, and of course I was in the Monkey's Paw, is just fantastic. And it was the first time I'd done anything like that, and I couldn't have imagined that it would have been so fulfilling. So my thanks to you on that. Now, you mentioned that there's more to come. What's the next thing?
Yeah, our next event is actually a murder mystery dinner theater, which is going to be very exciting because it's kind of an interactive play where the audience gets to play a role. They also get to eat because the food is provided within the ticket, and it's going to be held at Indian by Nature restaurant down in Jomtien, which is a beautiful restaurant. And some great food. But the neat thing about this is that it is a scripted play, but it also relies heavily on improvisation on the actors who are a part of it, because they actually exist within the audience, and so they'll be sitting at the tables with the actual audience members who come in.
But you said it's also an interactive play. How does that work?
Yeah, as people get their tickets, when they come in for the evening, they will be presented with a character name and a short bio. And that bio will somehow relate them to one of the characters within the play. And so the opportunity exists there for them to play their own role and play up that part. Now, that being said, it shouldn't scare anybody away either, because you can just have the name in the bio and be a silent observer, and that's okay. And maybe a character will come up and say hello to you if it's someone that they know. But it gives the opportunity for everyone to really be part of it.
Well, that sounds like great fun, and of course we do have some great characters here in Pattaya who I'm sure that's going to draw them in and buy tickets. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is a ticketed only event, yes?
Yeah, it's a little bit different from our evening of one acts in that because there's food involved and because there's table staging and everything, it has to be established ahead of time. So really, all ticket sales will cease a week before. So everything has to be bought in advance. With an evening of one acts, we had a ton of people coming in at the door, which was wonderful, and we could accommodate that because it was a different kind of theater. But with this one, we just can't. So those reservations are going to have to be made either through the website or at Indian by Nature or through one of the board members.
Okay. Now, the website's on the screen now, but when will this take place?
It will happen on September 6th, one night only.
One night only. Wow. So it's a lot of work just to have that one night.
It is. Our goal is that we want to fill up the restaurant, and we're not quite sure, since this is the first murder mystery, how much audience members will really take to this, and because it's interactive and different for Pattaya, we want to see. I have a feeling it's going to be a large turnout, and if it is such a large turnout that it sells out quickly, then we will investigate other options to open up other evening performances as well. But still, even if we did that, nothing would be available the night of. You'd still have to order in advance.
Okay.